You're listening to Why Germany podcast, the best place for relocation stories and expert tips, sponsored by Over the Offek, relocation agency to Germany, with your host, Eden Levine.
Hello everyone, my name is Eden Levine, and with me the lovely Nathalie Armstrong. Welcome and thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
It took me like a second to see if did I say it correctly. Sometimes with names it can be complicated, but yours is actually not that much.
No.
So, Nathalie, you're gonna tell us also why Germany.
Yes, why Germany? So originally I came to Germany. Well, there's two reasons. First, my partner is from Germany, and she would like to live. She wanted to live in Germany because she's very close to her family. And I never lived here before, so I said, okay, why not? And the second thing was that I wanted to learn German, actually speak it fluently, which is something I always wanted, growing up in France. So, because it's so close, you know, that it made sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the trivial thing, like you live in France, you technically want to learn German, but it's very interesting to hear more about this, because I think this is the first time that I hear, hey, I came to Germany because I wanted to speak German. Most of the time it's just very intimidating for people, this particular aspect of living in Germany, but you actually wanted to do that just for that. So could you please take us back, like for the whole beginning of the story of how you came up from France to Germany?
Yeah, I grew up in Strasbourg in France, which is on the border with Germany. But my parents are from the UK, so I grew up with both languages basically. And at school we learned German. But you know, I mean, you don't really learn the language in a school setting. It's only when you get to the country where you think, oh my God, I actually never learned anything at school. Which is a bit annoying, but you know, that's how it goes. And yeah, so I moved to Berlin about 10 years ago.
Oh.
Quite a long time actually now. I said to my partner, okay, we can go to Germany, but it has to be Berlin because it has to be an international city. And so for me, it was really important to be able to meet, you know, not non-German speaking people easily. So that's why we chose Berlin. She's not originally from Berlin, so for her it was also an adventure. Yeah, and then we lived there for about 7 years, and then we moved so we live near Heidelberg right now. And Berlin was not forever. It was just, you know, it's fish and stop.
The landing.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then we decided we would like to be closer to family. So where we live now is perfect for that.
Yeah, amazing. And so you're saying basically, I learned German in school, so I might as well get also a German partner.
That's interesting. I didn't, you know, you don't search for this kind of thing in life. It just happens. It's funny because we both met in England when we studied at university.
Okay.
So it was just super random that, you know, this person ended up becoming, well, we married. She's my wife now.
Yeah.
Crazy, yeah, that we met in England. And I mean, the reason for wanting to learn German, which I know surprised you, it's when you learn a language for so long at school, you think, oh, I'm sure there's more to it, you know. And it just really intrigued me because, I don't know, it's like I also, so another story is that I lived in Mexico for 6 months, and my aim was also to be fluent in Spanish. And that's what I did. I managed it. Because, I mean, French and Spanish is quite similar, so that helped. But German is another spectrum.
It's not similar to French, you say?
No, it's definitely not. And it wasn't an easy ride. But I got there.
So that's quite interesting. So you have a lot of goals when it comes to languages, I see. Is there something behind this, or is it just for fun?
I think it's more to understand people better, because I know that when we speak different languages, we may be not able to say the same things, or express it the same as we would want it to. And it really bothered me when I was in another country and people didn't understand me. Like, I'm saying something, but I know they're not getting it fully. And I'm like, this is just super frustrating, you know? I just want it. Yeah, I just love languages actually in general. And it just, yeah. I actually can't really answer the question properly, but it was just, it's like a challenge, you know? A challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's called passion. Like, some people have passion for languages, and it's quite understandable. I think German is quite a challenge and quite an adventure.
Definitely.
So when did you actually start learning German? Was it before with your partner or immediately after you came to Germany?
In German. So obviously I learned it at school, and then when I came here, I was like, oh my God, I understand a lot, but I couldn't speak much. And that really frustrated me. And I know a lot of people say, why didn't you learn German with your partner? And I said, but I can't argue with her in German. That doesn't that doesn't get me anywhere.
You need the language for arguing. That's basically.
We don't argue much, but it's like, maybe when I think about it, maybe I'm a perfectionist in a way, because I want to say it, you know, how I want it to land. And so if I can't, then for me, it's not worth it really. So, yeah. So I actually ended up doing a German course in the evenings, I think for like a month or two.
Oh.
That really helped to get things going. And my second job in Germany, it was all in German.
Wow.
Now, so I don't know how or why the person who hired me thought this would be a great idea to hire somebody who doesn't speak, you know, great German. But he believed in me. He said, I know you're gonna learn it fast. So let's do this. And that was really great to learn German, like super fast. I would recommend that.
So he was correct.
Yeah, he was. I mean, in the evenings, I was like, I said to my partner, I can't speak German anymore. It's just, I need a break. But during the day, you know, when you have to, it's just, it feels easier in a way, and it just clicks faster yeah.
Yeah. I actually took part when my husband and I, when we came here, I think a year after we came, we took part of this experiment of some sort, of somebody who wanted to see if learning the language actually also changes how you speak. So in a sense, if she tested how we speak in English and how we speak in German, and if it changes also our character or our personality. And I don't know the results of this test, of this experiment, but I could understand why she thought that, because I see how I'm much less funny in German, or I'm much less coherent, or, you know, smart even. It feels like you're not so smart. So I can even imagine that when you are in a setting of partnership and one of them speaks the language fluently or mother tongue, then you kind of feel like inferior in some way, like you cannot really match the level in somewhat. So is that what you meant by that?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I was so impatient in learning German. I could easily have just not learned it, you know, because there's a lot of people living in Germany who don't speak German, and that's fine. But for me, it was like really, really important to learn it. And also because her family don't speak English, or very limited.
Oh, okay.
So I had, in a way, that kind of pushed me to learn it fast. So I could be in situations where, you know, I would be with them on a weekend, and it just feels so strange to sit there and not understand what's going on, you know. You just think, like, why am I here? I mean, I want to be here, but it's just, it feels, I don't know, like you said, like inferior, you know. You just feel like, oh my God, I can't do anything. And it just, so it kind of pushed me to get...
It was a good motivation, you think?
It was definitely a good motivation.
Yeah. Do you think that the fact that you chose Berlin as the city to land in was a helpful decision to learn German, or was it actually counterintuitive?
I think it was good. I actually never lived in a big city, so That's already interesting. But I think
a lot of changes at once. So.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it was good, because I can't imagine, like, living in a village, for example, where there's only Germans. I think that would have been harder to integrate myself, because maybe I wouldn't have had the chance. First of all, I mean, when you move to a new country, everything's already new, and then the language new, and then, I mean, you can't do everything at once, right? And so for me, it was important. Okay, I need to, make friends and make connections and who speak English, and then after that, when I feel okay, I can do this, then the German was important.
So first of all, you needed like a safe ground, and then you can lift yourself in the language level somehow.
Yeah, definitely, because you need to feel comfortable and ready for this. I mean, it wasn't
not
easy.
too comfortable, but definitely you need to not be constantly in this insecure level to be able to grasp new ideas and new material of something.
Exactly, and it's not like, I mean, I'm not moving to Germany just to speak German forever and then I lose all my other language. It's just extra. So it's about, okay, here I am going somewhere new. How do I be me in this other language? Which is, like you said, it's not. Sometimes we don't feel like we're us when we're speaking another language, which is really funny, actually, and very disorienting. You're like, wait, is this me, or is this like a parallel person speaking? What is happening?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you feel like somehow you're somebody else talking, and you're part of it somehow, but half.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you manage to get the language, when there's this click, then it's like both come together, and you're just you.
When did it click for you?
Yeah, I actually wonder myself when that happened. I think it took a few years. I think when I was listening to music or like rap or really fast German, I was like, oh my god, I understand what they're saying. It was amazing. I was sitting there thinking, I made it.
Yeah, I love those moments where like, I could understand.
Yeah, but the most important, interesting thing is that there were days where I thought I lost all my German. And then the next day, it would be fine again. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is just like an up and down thing. I'm not there yet where I'm just, every day comfortable. But I would say a few years now.
And currently, do you speak German or English with your partner?
Now we actually speak both. And actually more German right now than...
Wow.
Yeah, it's because when we talk about certain topics, it feels just more natural to say it in the everyday language, that you use anyway. Like for work stuff, I also work in German, so it just feels more natural. Yeah.
Yeah, but still you have some English.
Yeah, yeah.
It sneaks in.
I mean, she needs to keep up her English, right? I mean,
so now you're going the other way. Okay, I'm preserving the English for your partner.
Exactly.
Important. Wow. Actually, one of the things that was really interesting to me when we spoke is when I realized that you're mentioning your partner, that it's a she.
Yeah.
And then it brought me to this whole concept of gay marriage and even having children in Germany. And for me, it was super interesting. It was actually part of the factors that determine if German is for me or not, is like the liberalism and what is the ideology behind this. How do you feel when it comes to this topic? I know it's not what defines you, obviously, but it's like, this is the kind of thing that you would say, okay, in every other country it's different. And I want to know if this is a place where you feel safe and like if that you're equal to others.
I mean, in my experience, I feel safe being gay in Germany. I feel like Germans don't really care what other people do.
Yeah.
And so that really it's nice, because there are some places where people look at you and you already feel they're judging you.
Yeah.
And that's just a weird feeling. But in Germany, it's just like, just do whatever you want. No one really cares.
Right.
So that's nice, you know, then you don't feel like you're out of place or you don't belong or something like that. So, yeah.
I mean, in Berlin, I would definitely expect that. Is it also the same where you're at the moment?
Yeah. It is. I don't know if we're lucky, because I mean, I know that some people don't have this experience, you know, and that's really sad. But maybe we're just surrounded by really nice people. Even our neighbors are super chill, and one of my neighbors is works actually for a church, and and they're so open with us. And you would think, first of all, oh my God, should we worry about this? And not at all. It's never been a topic. So
that's amazing.
So pretty lucky in that sense.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not something that you can speak for the whole of Germany, obviously, but I think in general terms, it's more safe and it's more accepting, and like you said, hey, people don't care. And it's something that for me was also part of, as I mentioned, my decision, and it's also because I'm atheist, and for me it was also how much do you care if I believe in God or not? And it seems like nobody cares whatsoever. Those that go to church, they're at church, they do their own thing, but they don't look at you funny if you're not, if you don't care at all about religion. So
exactly. It's amazing, right? It's
amazing,
just nice. Really. Just leave people be who they want to be. I mean, it's not even that important, to be honest.
I wonder, where did you get married?
Where?
Where?
In Heidelberg, actually.
In Heidelberg?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think it was a year after we moved here.
Interesting.
Yeah, we got everybody to come, and we got everybody because we have friends all over the world, so it's very difficult to know. Okay, where should we do it? But yeah, we did it in Germany.
Wow. I mean, I've heard so many horror stories about how difficult it is to get married in Germany. Not in particular to gay couple or not. It's more of the sense that the bureaucracy here is ridiculous. And I heard already of Germans going to Denmark to get married. So what made you choose Heidelberg?
Yeah, so that's a good question, because so I actually had the British nationality until I don't know how many years, maybe 4 years ago. And before we married, it was Brexit. And because of Brexit, I decided I would get the German nationality.
Oh.
Because then there was some kind of rule where I could keep my British nationality plus have the German one, which was not the case before. You had to give it up before. I think that was a rule. So that made me kind of get the German nationality. And I think that helped me a lot. I think if you're not German, then you have to prove a lot more things. I'm not certain, but that's what I've heard. And obviously my partner is also German, so that helped. But like you said, I mean, the bureaucracy here is just ridiculous. You still have to prove 1,000 things and, send it by post and, But yeah, it's doable.
It's doable.
It's doable.
People get married in Germany, yes, absolutely.
But I have to say, having a partner who's German helps, because obviously she knows, she's pretty good at bureaucracy stuff, so she gets things done.
That's important to add to having a German partner that speaks German and can handle the bureaucracy.
Yes.
It's not a given.
I think I chose really well.
Yeah, absolutely. If not for love, then at least for the bureaucracy part. Absolutely. And I also heard that you have a child. And this was also a topic that was very interesting for me, because I have heard of, I have a friend who got married to a German, and they both also adopted a child. But when it comes to women, then it's a bit different. Can you tell us about the process?
Yeah. So what we wanted to do, one of us wanted to be pregnant. So we just had to get a donor. And depending on where you live, you can go to a clinic and they tell you with which organization they work with. Because I know in Leipzig is totally different to where I live, for example.
every state is they want to be unique, so they make their own rules.
Oh yeah, that's one. I have to say that's one annoying thing about Germany. They have their rules. Ugh, it's so different everywhere. It's ridiculous. But but basically here we went through a clinic basically and got a donor, and they give you this list, so you don't get pictures of this person, but just like eye color, hair color, hobbies, where he's from, etc. And then we could just choose, okay, which one would we like? And my wife went through it. We did, so there's insemination, which we tried, that didn't work out for us, but we did IVF, and that worked the first time, which was great. And now we have a almost 7-month-old baby.
If you want to learn more about relocation to Germany, look for Over the Offek on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you needed to adopt her, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's, more bureaucracy.
Well, yeah, of course. If we can add more, like
let's not
cherry on the top, we have to.
We don't want to get bored in Germany, right? So let's
absolutely.
more paperwork. Yes, that was a whole nother process. I mean, in a way, it's kind of ridiculous because you have to, or I had to fill in this questionnaire. There was questions about basically asking you, are you fit to be a parent? What was your childhood like?
Far.
Send us a CV. What have you done with your life? And also, I had to write a whole letter about my whole life, my childhood, and everything.
Jeez.
Obviously, I said it was amazing, and I mean, I will only give the best to my child. I mean, yeah. No.
No depression, no anxieties whatsoever.
We're all, nobody has any issues whatsoever.
Good.
No, but
they don't have to know.
They don't have to know all this, Yeah, so a lot of basically saying who I am, showing them what kind of person I am, and we even had to have somebody come visit our home to see if we're fit to have a baby here, which is in our experience, we're very lucky because we had a lady who came and she said, I know this is ridiculous that we have to do this, but this is Germany, this is the bureaucracy, and
as long as she's aware, that's already good.
Yeah, she was amazing. We're very lucky because we've heard some other stories where they had a man and he was he went through with with the rules, like asking, because they ask you specific questions,
Oh, he was very dedicated to his job, I see.
Yeah, basically, and it wasn't a nice experience for them, so that was pretty awful to hear. But I'm hoping that it's changing, and again, our experience was very good, so lucky in that sense. But I have to add that it's not only we're not the only ones who have to adopt. Basically, I think it's also when a new couple, for example, the mother already has a child, and if her new partner comes into the relationship, he also has to go through the same process. So it's just basically how they do it here.
Okay, so it's in general, if one parent has a child and somebody else is an addition to the family.
So if they want to adopt, it would be the same process.
I wonder what happens if they're not accepted. Do you have to then get divorced or like?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But that's the interesting thing is that we're even married. So surely that would have been helpful in the process. But look, I've heard that they want to change this to make it easier for us, that we don't have to go through this whole process. I mean, especially if you're married, like we're already dedicated, right? So what else do you need? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if marriage was the only parameter, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And also you're thinking to yourself, like, if they would have done the same process with very incompetent parents who just can give birth, nobody is checking that, but that might have been changing stuff. But yeah, but I'm happy that it went well for you and that you've done a lot like already as expat in Germany that a lot of people don't experience whatsoever. So I think this is also something that would be very interesting to know. Okay, now that you've learned German and you have your own daughter that you have adopted and you have your job in German as well, and you live in near to Heidelberg, so it's also, you said, like roughly similar distance from your family in France and your partner's family. Do you feel now that you're well integrated into Germany?
Yeah, I would say so. And it's nice, to feel like you belong, and you are where you're supposed to be. Like, it really feels like that. And but it's a lot of work, it doesn't come in a day. It takes time, and there's always going to be struggles. Definitely, you're going to miss home. You're going to miss the food. Let's not talk about that topic. But
now I know why you moved close to to France.
Yeah, that's an important fact. No, but it's not easy, and I know not many people manage or say, okay, this is it, my home now forever, and that's fine. I mean, everybody has their different experiences, and but yeah, I feel good here, and I don't feel like I need to move anytime soon. Which is interesting because I've always loved to travel, and I thought I would be living somewhere in South America by now,
Oh, really?
Yeah, and now I've settled in Germany.
I mean, you have lived for a while there, right?
I've lived in Germany and France and Mexico, but it's like I feel like it doesn't matter where I am anymore. It's, do I feel like comfortable in my own body, I feel that's the most that's helped me until now. It's obviously, making friends, feeling like I have people around me, learning the language, and obviously having a great relationship and a good job. All these things really help, but it's also about, okay, working on myself, how can I feel good about just me? Not depending on anything else around me, but how do I feel?
Yeah. So it's not really the location, it's like who you are.
Yeah, it really is. I feel like the last years it's been more focused on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just feeling.
You did some self-exploration. Relocated within your body.
Definitely, there's a lot we can learn about ourselves. We don't necessarily need to look outside. We just need to look more inside.
Yeah, and we never know, right? Like, it's not the fact that you moved here, you settled, you have your family now here, your job does not mean anything anymore, right? It's like, it used to be like, okay, now you have a family, it's okay, no other ideas of relocation until pension. But now it's globalization changes everything, right? It's like completely easy.
And that's amazing that in a way, we're so lucky we can just easily just move tomorrow if you want to. And
by then just travel, because I mean, I think the one thing the German mentality has acquired to itself is the travel mentality. It's like everywhere you're traveling, if it's within Europe, if it's outside of Europe, every person you're talking to, second person, is like, yeah, I'm traveling there, I have a vacation there. That's why they have about 30 days of vacation from jobs. So
yes, that's a trick.
Yes,
there are good things, people. There are good things.
Oh, absolutely. Aside from the language, there are also good things. I must say that you said, okay, a couple of years, and I also I said it in another episode as well, is that I asked around how long it takes to feel comfortable with the language. And a lot of people around me said 3 years. And I felt like 3 years was actually the mark. Then I look back and I was like, yeah, that's actually quite the time.
Yeah.
Can't say that I'm super fluent because unfortunately I don't have a partner who speaks German and I can test on. But I am fortunate to have a partner who speaks Hebrew, so I'm not losing my language as well.
That's a good thing.
My mother tongue. But I can say definitely it helped to know that it does take time, and it's kind of, for me, it was a relief to know, okay, I'm still on the way. I still have time to look back and say, oh, maybe I'm not in a good spot, or I am. It's just, it takes time. So you can confirm that, I guess.
Yeah.
Around that time.
Of course, and there's no rush. There's no destination we need to get to. The thing is, we think we need to get somewhere or be a certain, I don't know, level in German to finally, feel like we're here now and, we belong. But actually, we maybe realize maybe that's not what we've really wanted, There's no point searching outside of us. It's more...
Absolutely. I mean, the fact is that integration is way more than just a language.
Definitely. Yeah. It's a whole... God, it's a
whole
lot
process.
of things. Yeah.
Yeah. If you look back, or if you think about your process, if you had to do it again, what would you change?
Oh, wow. What would I change? I think I did pretty well, to be honest. Let me think.
A bit of a tapping here.
Yeah, doing well. You really got me on the spot there. No,
You can also say nothing. It's also good to have a good process. That's great.
I think it's okay. What I would have done differently is be more brave at speaking German, even if it wasn't perfect. Because I think we get really scared of what people will think. But most Germans are just really, like, how do you say, impressed at you even trying to speak German when they can't. Not every German speaks good English, for example. So it's about just trying and don't worry about what people think, because in the end, it's just you judging yourself, really.
Right.
And the more you can, the more you practice, the easier it'll get. So I think that would have been a thing I could have done better, and not think, oh, it has to be a certain way, Yeah, just
not to overthink it and to practice more.
Exactly, just go for it.
No, I agree completely. Aside from food, what is it that you miss from home?
Well, France is a beautiful country, There's a lot of, we traveled a lot there when I was younger, and it's beautiful. But Germany also has its very nice places. So what would I say I miss? Oh, I also have friends there still. So I think the problem, or not the problem, but when you travel so much and you lived in so many different places, you just want the people you love the most to be close to you, Like, oh, if I could just knock on their door, that would just be amazing. But, oh, no, I have to drive, like, I don't know how many kilometers to get there. So it's about, like, planning, how do I manage to keep those connections alive? Because that's also not easy, especially when people have stayed at home and they've never left home, and then you feel like an alien when you get back. You're like, oh my God, this is just the same here as I left it. Do I feel good about this or not? It's just so many questions. Yeah, now I think about it. There's so many things that were going through my head when I was, when I left home.
Yeah.
Which now is not a thing anymore. But over time, you realize what works best for you. But France is so close. Like, I don't miss it that much.
Okay, that's true.
So that's
but do you feel now more German or more French?
That's a good question. Well, the problem is my parents come from England, so I also have that connection.
But you were born in France.
I was actually born in Germany.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah.
were born here's another
Another twist.
piece of information, another twist. Yeah,
I hit that well, didn't I? No, because my dad used to work in Germany and my mother in France. So we were kind of, yeah. So I was born here, but we moved to France pretty quickly after that. But I actually forgot the question now. What was the question?
If you feel more French or German.
I don't feel, I have to say, I don't feel any nationality. I just feel good with who I am right now. And it doesn't have to have a name to it. And that, I feel like that's not amazing because it's like borderless, you know? That's why I think I find it difficult to answer the question, where do you come from? There's a lot of answers to that question.
Yeah, for you, definitely you have a lot of answers to that.
Yeah. So
it kind of also brings the question, if you were born in Germany, could you not receive citizenship because of that?
No, because one of your parents has to be German. And both of mine are English, so from England.
English, okay.
And so at least one of them has to be to get it automatically.
But there you are, years after.
I know, yeah.
Claiming it.
Oh, it comes back.
Right.
But no, it could have been so easy, but no.
Really, right?
No.
But I completely connect to what you say. I heard also this term citizen of the world, kind of like, I don't feel like nationality is something that is so strong anymore, and that you have the good things and bad things where you are at, and the good things and bad things where you were. No matter where those places are, you collect what you want from what you think was worthy to collect, and you just try to be yourself wherever that is.
Yeah.
So just like you mentioned, it's more of the inside part than the actual physical part. And I completely agree. All right. So as I ask everybody, newcomers to Germany, what would be the one tip you will tell them?
So what really helped me, I have several tips, if that's okay.
No, please, okay. Go ahead.
What really helped me when I moved here was finding local Facebook groups or meetup groups. There's so many things online nowadays anyway, where I could go to events, you know, and meet people, make friends, but also meet people and exchange about their experience, because I feel like a lot of us think we're alone when we move abroad. We think, oh my God, I have to do this by myself, you know, and it doesn't have to be that way. There's so many people in our situation that we can all help each other out, you know.
Right.
So I feel like community really has helped for integration, to feel, you know, at home. Mm-hmm. And what else? I actually wrote down, don't expect much from locals, just because I think I had high expectations about certain things, like I don't know, when I go in a shop, you know, how I'm going to be greeted in a certain way, like, oh, hello, you know, like in England, they're too friendly. And then in France, they're just neutral friendly. And then in Germany, it's just like, they look at you and you think they don't want you to be there. which is my experience, but it's funny now, you know. But at the beginning, you're like, oh my God, like okay. So I would say don't expect much, because obviously you'll have your experience from home where you've traveled to, but here it's going to be maybe totally different, and it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah.
So that's that. And the last thing I had was, just for the integration, obviously it helps I think, to speak German. So if you can put yourself in an environment where you can speak it, even if it's just, you know, a few times a week or whatever, but something just to feel like, okay, I'm learning it somehow. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know. As I said before, Germans, they're just impressed you're trying, and that's already enough for them. So don't go to speak broken German.
Yeah, no, it's true. They say that you learn in the place where you're uncomfortable. So if you feel uncomfortable, that's great. You're learning.
That is true. That's where growth happens. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is where growth happens. So I agree completely with everything you've mentioned. And it's funny, I remember I have the exact opposite when it comes to the experience, like in how you're greeted. I was like, were they so happy? Maybe it's in Leipzig. I mean, I've heard already like people coming here and they're like, why are people so nice? So
oh, wow.
it could be that you need to visit Leipzig for sure.
Yeah.
But I was in Israel. It's like you're used to get the hi, maybe, if you come to a store, right? If they noticed you, they don't have anything else to do. They're kind of like, okay, hi. I was never used to getting the bye, like the cheers. Like, you're like, why is she caring if I leave or not? It was like so weird. And I think there's a whole discussion about the high pitch that it comes to, like in the hello or like cheers. And it's like,
that's true.
That's the kind of thing you definitely don't expect, especially when you see maybe German movies or TVs, and you're like very like it can sound aggressive, and then they're like cheers, hello, and it's kind of like,
where am I? Is this Germany?
Yeah, what's happening? So don't expect much, and maybe come without expectations, and just embrace it and explore whatever comes to you. Could definitely be. I really agree with you. Nathalie, thank you so much for joining. And I think everybody learned a lot. I know I've learned. I was very interested in your story and how your integration came about, especially to learn to know somebody who just really wanted to learn German. That was, it was amazing to discover. Yeah, so I really appreciate your coming. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you. So, see you next time.
Yeah, see you.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Why Germany. If you want to learn more about relocation, make sure to visit overtheoffect.com, your relocation experts.